Hello everybody, Reggie Time here, and this is going to be my last video for I'm not sure how long. I'm just getting too busy. There's not enough hours in the day for me to do the work I need to be doing, both poker related and otherwise. I have very little time to do this, and because I probably make rubbish videos, and because of YouTube algorithms, and because I always start them with like spamming, shilling stuff. The views just aren't worth it, and frankly, I'm not getting the response I wanted in terms of people joining the private clubs, and that is the only reason I make the videos is to recruit players to private games. And it's just not a good use of my time. I have other things, more productive things to do with my time at the moment. So yeah, this is going to be the last video for a while. How we're going to do it is I recorded myself playing an hour of 25 Zoom on Pokerstars. We're just going to watch the raw footage back on double speed and then stop at the somewhat interesting points in it. So this is the last call for anyone for the time being on my YouTube channel. If you do want to get into the private club games I'm in, reach out to me either by commenting below in YouTube or following the Telegram address that is also beneath the YouTube. I'm telling you now, the games are better than mainstream sites significantly. There's more and more clubs joining the union that we've formed. It's just good. I mean, it's just a good place to play. I typically play 50NL there in sterling, where in the mainstream sites, my typical game is 20NL or 25NL. And I spend most of my time in there grinding. So there's got to be a reason for that. And it isn't just because it's part of my role to prop the tables. It's also because, very decent win rates are very much achievable for recreational players who aren't super nerds. You're going to watch in this video. I'm a bad poker player now. I am not good at poker, but I still managed to do pretty well in those games. And yeah, we're going to show you how bad I am now. And then when you see how bad I am, and you think, well, fucking hell, this fucker's still winning, maybe you'll understand why. So without further ado, let's watch it through. We've got the aces here on the right-hand side table. I only played this session an hour and a half ago, and I already think I'm going to forget quite a lot of the things that I did. So here we've defended the 9-7 suited in the big blind. We get a flop that we have very much wanted to check raise. I guess we could donk here too. I didn't even consider donking in the moment. I don't really do a lot of donk betting. We definitely could have had a donk bet here, but I think also going for a check raise is going to be okay. We do see a stab for a pretty small size on a pretty wet board. This is just going to be overdone. It's going to be like the small c-bet in position. It's just overdone. It's something I do quite a lot of too. The reason I do it is I believe there's still a small overfold to it, but also I just find it makes the rest of the hand easier to play. Gathering information on the early streets for relatively small sizes allows me to at least feel like I'm making better decisions on later streets. I'm just going to use 75% here for my check raise size. That's pretty standard for me. I imagine I'm just going to use 75% anyway. Don't remember what happened in this hand. We get the immediate fold. 3-betting the ace queen suited here, getting a call. Getting checked to on the ace king 7 by a player that turns out to be a fish. Again here, I think just betting 1/3 pot with range against most players it's gonna perform fine. Against fish, maybe we could think about sizing up a little bit to target single diamond hands that aren't folding, worse ace X, Maybe here it is a bit lazy to just go 1/3. That's what I did because I'm a bad player, and he folded. Can we make this go even faster? Let's see. Oh, can we? So here we've got the ace queen of spades. We've opened early position. We've been 3-bet by middle position. Small sample, this guy, 2017. Look at these positional stats are all over the joint, but it is a small sample. Looks like a probably shit reg. I don't remember the hand, of course, because I'm an idiot. I think I prefer just 4-betting here and then folding to shove. He calls, we flop. Top 2 pairs. There's only a stack to pot ratio of 1.5 left, or thereabouts. So we're going to be looking to play a 2-street game here, I imagine. And this is where I won't be using my bet size buttons very often. I'm probably just going to customize the sizing. And here I kind of want to leave room for him to raise, probably, but how often do I think we're going to get bluff raised here? Not very often. We bet small enough, we might get raised for a hand that wanting protection, but I doubt it. I think there's going to... I don't know. I don't know what I was going to say there. But obviously we're just going to bet an amount and then shove turn or call if we get shoved on. We just get the turbo fold. Probably an overfold there with the pocket fours. Don't care. 3-betting the queens. Getting a... This time was interesting for multiple reasons. It's very strange what happens here. So we're going to face 4-bet. We are pretty deep. Got this random cold call behind us from a fish I've never seen before because we don't have a hood stat underneath him. I think like 5-betting here would be an absolute torch with pocket queens. It'd be an omega punt. Folding in position with pocket queens seems absolutely shite. And we have this guy too. So we have the easy call. But this isn't the strange bit. This guy is eventually going to call. And I see here, I'll pause this table so I can focus fully on this one. It's going to check to us, and we are going to stab on the small side, I believe. That's when it starts getting weird, though. Because this guy now, he like uses all his... I mean, this bearing in mind we're watching this back in like triple time. He uses all his time back, uses all his extra time back. And I've never seen this before. I actually start playing at this other table again in a minute, thinking as my internet crashed. That's unfortunate timing. And then this extra time bank pops up. And I think this entire hand took like 3.5 to 4 minutes. Because, like, look how... I mean, we're watching this back now in triple, maybe even quadruple time. It's just fucking mad. I've obviously looked at the other table, confirmed that my internet is working. And I've no idea literally no idea what's going on here. If anyone can explain, if they're more familiar with PokerStars than I am, have you ever seen this before? And if so, what is the cause of it? Obviously, finally jams, we snap it off and we win. But I've never seen such a strange thing as that before. Is it disconnect protect or something? Fuck knows, but it took a long time. And it does seem like it's something more nefarious people could use to their advantage if they wanted to cheat in real time by running sims, etc. Or running like GTO Wizard. I didn't like it. Ending the jack 8 here, flopping 2 pairs versus a fish. What did I do there? I didn't even notice. Did the flop go? Oh no, yeah, the flop went check, did it? I think. So then, yeah, then I elected to overbet the turn. He calls, and then the river. Excuse me. I thought I had too much of the board to value bet and get called by worse too often. I think fish just aren't going to check back strong hands on this flop. So he checks back flop and just calls the overbet on the turn. I just don't think he has any strong hands whatsoever. So I elected to check here. I mean, he's just got a mountain of bluffs available to him. He's a loose, bad player. He's going to have both the flush draws. He's going to have like 10, 9, Queen 10, 6, 7, probably. Just a lot of like bluffing opportunities. I don't think he's got many, if any, value combinations. So I elected to be greedy and go for a check raise, even though I don't think we're going to get called very often. He snap checked back, and then we pull the replay up. And this is why I don't particularly love calling rivers in low stakes no limit hold'em, because I would expect a lot of humans. Maybe it's a bad combo to bluff in theory land. I don't know, but I would expect a lot of humans to like take these kind of bluffs, especially fish, and he didn't. And it's why I'm not a huge fan of check calling rivers or calling rivers without trying to have a pretty good reason for it. Here we're going to fold the Queen 10. Normally I would defend this hand, but I looked at this guy. He's 20/18, 15, 3-bet over 200 hands. So he looks like, oh, this guy might be a competent reg. But then he's raised by position, stats are all over. And again, we have to look at sample size. But 197 hands, what's that, like 30, 35 orbits, something like that? And yeah, they haven't settled down to anything meaningful yet for me to want to defend versus 3x with Queen 10 off. Here we've ISO'd the Ace King. I don't think anything interesting happens here. Nope, it doesn't. Tagging a fish in the big blind. We get 3-bet, we fold. Ace Jack suited here. We 3-bet from the big blind. I don't know if it's a pure 3-bet. I think he's probably got some calls in there. I just prefer to 3-bet pretty linear. I don't 3-bet polar from the big blind, so I just put more hands in the linear range. He calls. Now, this one's interesting, this pot. So I just see bet half pot with my entire range on the flop on these low boards. And our opponent calls. We get the king turn, which I think is far better for us than it is them. They're going to have some ace high floats. They're going to fold the turn now, even though we're doing okay against them. They're probably going to have some maybe hands like ace 5, pocket 6s, ace 4, pocket 7s, etc. Maybe they got stuff like 6, 7 suited too. That probably aren't going to fold. But I just felt like the king was a good card, and we can get a lot of his flop floating range to now fold on the turn. So I elected to double barrel around half pot again. And he tanks and calls. Then we actually make showdown value on the river. And given that I think we've made a lot of pairs fold the turn, like I think pocket 7s, pocket 8s, pocket 9s have all gone. Pocket 6s maybe stuck around because it had a good shot. I was a bit flummoxed as what to do in this river. I mean, he can have some king X, for example. He can have stuff like king queen of spades, king queen of clubs, depending on how wide he floats. Maybe even some offsuit king queen, but I doubt it. He can have some king jack king jack of... No, he can't have any king jack suited, really, because diamonds... Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, I don't need to think about it too much. Basically, my thought process came down to... I think this is now too thin to shove for value, even though it's only 2/3 pot. Still just think we run into better hands too often when we shove and get called. So I elected to check and then wait and see what happens. Then our opponent tanks and then jams for what is effectively 2/3 pot. And this is one where, even though as I said earlier, I don't like calling rivers, in spots like this, I mean, we're not going to get here with too many better hands to call with than this, I wouldn't imagine. This might be the absolute top of my checking range. I can't remember thinking exactly what I thought Villain had. You know, bluffs probably going to be hard to find out because I don't think he double floats pairs. And if he does, how many people are trading pairs into bluffs on rivers? I didn't know, but it felt like I just couldn't fold this one. Felt like we were, and this is a shit thought process. Oh, I'm close to top of range. If I fold this, I'm folding everything. And that might even be true. I can't think of many hands here that I would take this line with that are better than ace jack. I elected just to call. As I said, I'm a bad poker player. And fortunately, this time he had the ace queen and we were good. Three betting the ace king, but smaller due to villain stack depth. I remember thinking I wasn't going to be in love with calling versus shove here against someone who's playing 14-11, but stupid sample size. Probably call and lose if he does jam. Here with the pocket sevens, I think we're about to make a call. This is kind of frowned upon in many circles, like set mining in these spots. We got this guy here who doesn't look like he's going to be particularly squeeze happy. We got this guy in the small blind who might be, but we're deep versus him, and the big blind looks like a pretty tight reg. Then we do get squeezed, sadly. And then we get the 4-bet, and then we just get out of there. And these unplayable hands. We open the ace jack, and we get a call. I remember this hand, nothing much is going to happen. We obviously call with that backdoor flush draw 2 overs. King turn checks. I don't know if we can stab on the king. I just don't think we're going to get many folds on this board texture. Draws aren't going to fold. Who knows? Maybe even like pairs of 8s, pairs of 9s aren't going to fold. I don't know. Maybe if this guy bets small, we can consider punching around with a check raise. But I think generally speaking, I don't play these spots well. Multi-way, unimproved. Like, so we just called the one blind on the flop. I don't know what better thing to do. We can't really raise multi-way. Can't fold. We just call them. We just meekly check a turn that's kind of okay for our range. But then I just don't bother betting. As I said, I'm a bad poker player. And then it's a bet and a call, and we just get out of there. I try and stick around for the end, and I don't think I do because I can't be bothered. Oh, I did. Raising the 8s, getting 3-bet, probably just folding. No, we decided to call. Oh, yeah, it's cut off button, so not folding. If it was earlier positions, I probably would have folded. I think I decided to check call half pot on the flop here. I think we could just bin it, but I think like button versus cut off, I think there are a number of players who do go on the slightly wider side here, and then they're always just going to range bet this flop. But it is half pot. It's not a range bet size. Maybe we can just fold straight away. We end up check folding the turn if I remember correctly, or check folding the river, one of the two. I think we check fold anyway. Please don't call reg. I mean, this doesn't make a great deal of sense. Half pot flop, check back turn, then half pot river. I mean, I don't think too many value hands play this way. I think I would expect. I don't know. I mean, maybe looking back at this now, maybe this might just be King X, and we could maybe punt and try and get that to fold, like King Queen or something. Stab flop, get called. Turn showdown value, check back because you don't want to play a big pot anymore. River checks again. All right, well, my man's not got an ace, therefore I'm going to value bet my king. That is a very conceivable thought process he could have had. I think I did contemplate doing something and then decided against it. Yeah, I just called in the end, and they're surprised it didn't barrel the turn there, to be honest with you. You just got like a fantastic hand. Yeah, it's quite surprising. And fair enough, he got max value from my pocket eights, but I don't think he's getting max value from our range that calls the river in general. I guess while we're just watching some hands go through, Zoom is a bad game. It's full of boring players, but they're not good. They're like me. They're just not good. It's like 25 on Zoom is just a bunch of mediocre regs who haven't got the skill or the balls to play higher. It's not a tough game in terms of you're putting like loads of. Well, we'll just finish this point before we look at this hand, where you're putting loads of like really marginal spots all the time. You know, you could just have a basic strategy of try and be as aggressive as you dare, try and be as aggressive as you can, and then in the big pots, don't hit call too often, and do just fine as long as you're doing the aggressive bit too. If you're doing the like folding the big pots bit with bluff catchers, but then you're also not applying pressure, then that's when you probably are going to just flatline and tank red line, etc. But it's just not fun. But when I play on all the other sites outside of maybe Unibet and Bet365, the regular tables are just like this these days. You know, you play reg tables on GG, you know, the shit. They're just absolutely riddled with fucking nits. People are actually nittier than me. Party poker's not too bad, to be fair. The iPoker network is just absolutely riddled with table campers and quite potentially bots. No Limit's just a dead game on mainstream sites in most spots for 95% of players who just can't win. They can't beat the rake. I not offering this as a bet or anything like that, but I'd be confident I would beat these 25-0 Zoom games for maybe 4 or 5 blinds 100. That's not a bet I'm offering, by the way. I don't have the time or the inclination. Because I think there's just that many. I think there's so many like worse nits than me in there that I just do okay. But it's not fun. The one thing it's always been good for me is Zoom or Russian Cash or whatever fast fall format you play is it helps keep me sharp for when I'm playing in softer games where it's very easy to just become really sloppy really quickly. The amount of times where I've had maybe 2 or 3 weeks when I've only played a couple of thousand hands on mainstream sites and I've been playing in like fishy like semi-live games on the app. I do lose sharpness. I'd start getting sloppy. I stop having good, solid, repeatable thought processes and end up just playing like my C game a lot. And whilst my C game still does okay in soft games, it still is C game. Whereas doing this, um, you know, even just an hour a day as a warm up before I get into my main session, or even half an hour a day, I just think it's good practice. Even though the games stink and the shit, I think it's good for just like a proper game workout, if you will, and that's kind of how I use it. We four bet the king queen suited here. We get called. We get a queen high flop. We are still SPR 4 and a bit, so it's a little bit awkward. I think the machine here would just range a bit small, and I don't think that's in general a bad strategy either, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm not super well studied on 4-bet pots starting the hand 200 big blinds deep. In fact, when I say I'm not well studied, I'm not remotely studied. I might never have studied this spot in my entire life. So my instincts are here that we should probably just bet and see what happens. We do bet. He calls turn ace, which is mighty inconvenient. If there's one spot where people are going to flat aces pre-flop, it's going to be versus the in position 4-bet. But that's more at 100 bigs deep, not at 200 bigs deep. Maybe at 200 bigs deep, you don't flat aces. You just always 5-bet. I don't know. All I know is I wasn't a big fan of this turn card. It's clearly way too thin to bet for value now, or at least it is to me. In my mind, it's too thin to bet for value. And obviously our hand is going to function really, really badly as a bluff. So I guess all we can do is check. 6 on the river. I wasn't sure whether to block here or not. Get value from hands like Queen Jack, maybe pocket jacks, pocket tens, etc. that just don't want to fold. I don't know if we could just bet like 18 chips, 18 big blinds here. I think if I could have this hand back, that's what I'd do. I ended up checking, and then we faced a big bet, and we just folded and didn't like anything about that. Thought this might be a quick video. It's already been 27 minutes. So here we've 3-bet the ace queen suited and picked up a cold call from the big blind. Again, we're deep, and I haven't studied these spots in the slightest. Remember when I first saw this, like, fucking cold call big blind? But I think at this depth, I mean, maybe they still don't exist. I don't fucking know. But I was a bit like, ugh, don't know what to do. And then this flop came down. I was like, well, I probably can't range bet here multi-way. Deep as shit. Just start by checking out of position multi-way in a 3-bet pot. Just checking everything. We face a pretty quick 2/3 pot size bet. And I just didn't know what to do. I still don't know what to do. I don't remember what I did. I wouldn't be surprised if I just folded, which is obviously super weak and quite pathetic. But I didn't know what to do. So I just went, well, I'm out of here. I'm out of position. I don't know what to do. I'm going to know even less what to do on future streets. So I just made a probably enormous overfold, and I'll just live with it because I don't care enough to let it bother me. This is a bit boring watching it back on double speed, triple speed, quadruple speed even. It's not as bad when you're playing because at least you're doing stuff. What I do know, I couldn't grind this game like 10 hours a day. I think I'd just rather go out and get a job, I think. Then when I had the job, I'd be like, fucking hell, I wish I was grinding Zoom for these 8 hours I'm here. The grass is always greener, isn't it? Right, so what have we done here with this 9-7 suited? So are we open pre? We've opened pre. They've called. They've bet half pot on the flop. Oh, they've got no money. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. They've got no money. Shut up. Carry on. Who cares? Just folding the ace-3 suited here because this guy's short. And when I check the stats, he had only 3-bet once in 25 opportunities, big versus small, so he can fuck off. He's not getting action. $30 more minutes on the video, and I've only got 10 more minutes before I've got to go out, so we might have to end this before we get through to the end of the video. I hope not, though. You're betting the king queen suited here. At depth, maybe we need to go bigger than 3x. Probably do need to study deep stack poker more because in the private games I play in, you just deep very often and stay deep. I probably do need to do a bit more study in 200 plus big blind deep spots because I'm not very good. I don't need to be because I'm playing against other people who aren't very good, but I'd like to get better. A couple of smallish pots there that I just didn't talk about because I need to get the video finished. I'm very, very pushed for time these days. I'm in a Discord community with some good lads who I used to love chatting with a lot, but I'm just busy all the time. It's good. It's good that I'm busy, making good money, working hard, but it doesn't leave as much time as I'd like for arsing around chit-chatting with fucking idiots like Duesenberg and Waller02 and Shrimpy28, etc. I do miss chatting with them. I haven't actually had a voice chat with them for ages, and I do miss that. I just simply don't have the time anymore. You get dealt a lot of bad hands at no limit hold'em, don't you? This just fold, fold, fold. My VPIP typically comes out around 21% with I think around a 16% PFR and around a 8.5% 3-bet when I'm playing speed poker. Obviously, it's different in softer games. We do decide to go for a very unusual 3-bet there with the queen 10 off versus just trying to isolate a fish. Should be playing that queen 9 suited reg. Didn't do it though. Now this one's interesting, this ace jack. So we've been check raised on this flop. I think you could make an argument for just folding a lot of hands here. I'm not going to fold when I've got the ace of hearts though. And the queen of hearts comes on the turn. And the villain now like barrels for a small size. I think he can have some strong hands here still in his range. It's just downsizing because they don't want to check. But we've got the ace of hearts and we are on the deeper side. So I elected to go for a raise here. I think maybe I should have gone bigger because if I did have a nut flush here, I would not use this size because I'd want to put more money in the pot and try and stack a smaller flush. But I think for what we're trying to achieve here, which is just get him to call with a lot of hands and then fold rivers, I actually quite like it. And we do overbet the river, and your man does quite a lot of tanking. And he finally finds a fold, and I felt 10 foot tall. My penis grew by 1/4 of an inch while still flaccid. These fives here, we flatted the button. Then we flat the half pot C bet. Don't know if we can think about raising. We turn a set. You see, I thought about betting, then check back, and then river he checks. And I think we should bluff here. We'll probably overbet too. I don't like my size. I think we should just overbet here just to make him to fold chops. I don't think we're going to get chops to fold for this size. We should overbet. And we did not get him off the chop. Yeah, checking back weak top pair. Calling turn probe. And I think we just have to call the river. We're significantly up. We're going to lose a lot. You can see my cursor there going to how often he wins when he bets the river and gets called, but the sample size is too small. I don't think we can fold this hand. And he had nothing. Not sure there's too many more interesting hands coming, to be honest. We're getting close to the end of the recording. I don't think the session ended on anything too exciting. Should have 3-bet the S10 off there, probably. Maybe we should call that turn bet with the pair and flush draw. I think we'll see this ace queen if anything interesting happens. But I think we're pretty much done on the interesting hands. Probably just giving up with this ace queen, although I think I should probably just double barrel. Oh, we did. We got the fold. Yeah, so we'll call that a day on the watching of the video because I've got to go out. I mean, I've said it's my last video for a while. If I ever have spare time, I might knock the odd one out, but I was trying to do like 3 a week to try and drive more traffic to the private games. It didn't work, frankly. Very few players came across, which is what it is. I know they're not for everyone, private games. There's still a lot of distrust of them. People like to get volume, which you can't get in private games. People like to be able to use tracking software, which you can't do in our club because it's PC restricted. So I get it's not for everyone. If you are watching this video at any point in the future or on the day it's put out, please do get in touch if you fancy them. I'm not expecting any of you to do so, but you never know. You leave a lot of these little like landmines around, and now and again someone steps on one and bounces into your inbox. So thanks for watching, everybody. I probably will do one before Christmas just to wish you all Merry Christmas, even though I couldn't give a fuck about yous. Yeah, I mean, I guess I hope you have a Merry Christmas, but if you don't, would I care? Probably not. And yeah, we'll see you whenever the next video comes out. Thanks for watching. Take care and bye-bye for now.